Well, hello everyone. I made it. It took a lot to do and to get everything straightened out here in Louisiana to try to get the show live and get a good enough signal. But I have some great friends, Haggis Rampant, a group out here that are letting me use their place and their really nice internet. So thanks to them, really great people. Hey Janine, hey Damaris, hey Drew, and yeah, you're not late, and hey Kurt. Yeah, it is. I think I'm using new lighting, so I think the lighting is very good. I'm very happy about that. And unfortunately, my mic had some problems, and it's a different issue. But so I'm using the built-in mic, so I think you should be able to hear me okay. But it's not up to my normal quality, so I hope that's okay. But it's great to see you and great to be back. Hey Nancy, hey Kat. Woo! Yes, but it is, it's an interesting time. It's always fun to do weekend after weekend. Oh, thanks, Kat. That sounds okay. Well, I know it's a little echoey, but you know me. I'm obsessive with good sound. So, but yeah, great weekends at Louisiana Ren Fair. I'm having a great time. The crowds have been really good. And, yeah, the weather's been picturesque. It's been wondrous. And that's always the best thing. Fair enough, Drew. But yeah, hey Kathy. So yeah, it is. It has been a week. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit different. It's usually I like I like the presence to be better, so it sounds like I'm really close to the mic. But hey, it works, so I'm not complaining that much. I really am not. I'll get it fixed. I have a backup mic, not here, but back where I'm staying, so I'll have that for next time if it comes to that. But so far, it looks like we're good. Whew. So all is well. All is well. Oh, right, yes. Well, I do like the new lighting. I think I look pretty good compared to, even compared to back at my house. It's new lighting. You can see them a little bit in the mirror in the background, but they're strip LED lighting, and I really like it. So I'll tweak it a little more. Actually, I have no idea where they got the mirror. I will check on that. Maybe I can have that information for next time. Yeah, they're over gaming in the next room, actually. There's a large group of performers over there. And yeah, so the question is, what do we do when we're not performing over the weekend? Yeah, we get together, hang out, and game. It's not, yeah, I think I don't know if they're doing board games or like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, but they are gaming. But yeah, I'll ask them about the mirror. But no, I noticed it. Another group, Chase Treasure, did a live stream here a few days ago, and when I checked it out and noticed that they were in front of the mirror and it looked great, and the internet was great, so that's where I worked it. And thank you, Gwendolyn. Yeah, I like the lighting a lot. I'm good, and this is like alpha test. This is just me trying it out almost for the first time. I mean, I tried it out once before, but yeah, it'll only get better. I'll tweak it some more. So definitely liking it. It definitely makes me look a little more. I tended to be the light would be very all over my face. I'd kind of get a little blown out, but just on the cusp. And I think this is a little more muted, and I like that. It covers my face very well. So very nice. Very happy about it. I'm just glad to be back. Last Monday was it was tough. I was really hoping to try to figure something out, and it did not work. Yeah, Airbnb for live streams, that's not a bad idea, Janine. Yeah, that could be very good. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't seen that yet. For people that know a little bit about how to live stream, setting that up, it wouldn't be too hard, and it would be popular. So yeah, if any of you have Airbnbs that you're renting or know somebody who does, yeah, tell them to contact me. I can give them some advice and what to say, because yeah, it would be very helpful to have that. And I will be staying probably at an Airbnb for the last couple of weekends at Louisiana, so yeah, I'm still working that out right now, but we'll get it all figured out. So who knows? Maybe I can find something like that. But yeah, it's been an interesting time. I don't usually have a stage at Louisiana. I just work the lanes and busk, and it's a totally different dynamic than when you have a stage show. And I kind of like it for that, because busking is, well, I mean, having a stage is like you go on stage and you give 110% for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or however long your show is, and then you're off, and you're kind of like, when you're busking, you can't do that, because you're playing for hours. And you play for a little while, you take a quick break, you play for a little while. A friend of mine, Vince Conway, who plays hammered dulcimer, he's really good on it. He always said that it's a marathon, not a sprint, when you busk, and I totally agree with that. That is exactly how it is. Yeah, Drew, busking the lanes, it is nice. I really like it. But I think part of the reason I like it is because it's different. I kind of like doing different things at different fairs. So it gives me a chance to have fun with it. Oh, okay, the words are going too fast here to read. I don't know if that, I guess, are you looking at closed captioning? I can talk a little slower, but I'm not sure. Yes, closed captioning is on. That's automatic through Facebook, so, well, I can talk a little bit slower. It is possible. It really is. I can do that. But no, it has, like I said, it's been a great week, and I've enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I get to see all of these people, a lot of whom I haven't seen in 2 years, some of whom you've seen on Life's a Faire over the last year, who've performed on it, and I get to hang out with them and go eat meals and jam. Oh yeah, and actually, as a matter of fact, my old bandmate Mark Gunn did a house concert where I was staying last Saturday night, so he came in with his family and played a house concert, and then him and I jammed a little bit at the end there. So that was always surreal. Yeah, I'm always fast talking. Yeah, I'm practically a northerner, how fast I talk. I guess compared to the average Texan, I probably do talk a little bit. But I'm also excited. I'm just so happy to be back here with y'all. That is, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried that I'd have to go dark for 6 weeks on streams, and that really, yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting it to miss it that much, and just even 1 week was just kind of like, oh gosh, no, it can't be 6 weeks, that's not good. So yeah, so that just says that how much I appreciate hanging out with all of you every Monday, and how much it means to me. So thanks, guys. Really means a lot. Oh, okay. Gwendolyn says closed captioning inherently does that almost always, so it goes too fast. I really haven't paid much attention to closed captioning on Facebook, so I'll try to check that out. I wonder if there's a fix or a setting that I can change. So yeah, I'll look into that. That is an interesting question, Chris and Gwendolyn. And Nancy, you're right, can't lose that momentum. Gotta have fun with it. So definitely. Now, I guess it's 7:10. Let me go ahead and jump over into the what's going on at the fair. The fair's this weekend, because I did post the map from last weekend just on our Facebook page, just so you could at least see it. Even though I was off for the week, I wanted to at least give you the map so you could see it. I hope some of you did. But we have let's see, the map, it's changed a bit. As you can see, most of them are kind of way down there in the corner, way south. Most of them, not even in the southern states, they're in the southern part of the southern states. Carolina Ren Fair over in North Carolina is the only exception, and this is their last weekend this week. So yeah, it's definitely changed a bit. Let's go full screen on that, and we can check it out. Definitely interesting. Yeah, this is cool. And Janine asks, does fast singing overlap with fast talking, or are they mostly separate skills? Wow. You know, I may talk faster now that I have done Bogged Down in the Valley so much and sang that song. There might be something to that, Janine. That's both humorous and a little scary and disturbing. I'm going to think about that. So I'll put that on my notes too to research, because I wonder if that does change, because I mean, when you're raised in an area where people talk faster, that's what you get used to. So maybe it has. Wow, that's a scary realization. That's going to keep me up tonight. Thank you, Janine. That's really scary. But okay, let's go through real quick. I already commented on the Carolina Renaissance Festival in Huntersville, North Carolina. That's the most northern fair we have now, and we still have the Texas Renaissance Festival going out northwest of Houston, and of course where I am, the Louisiana Renaissance Festival just outside of Hammond. Now we did lose one of the Ren fairs in Florida. It was 4 last weekend, but now we are at 3. So yes, 3 Ren fairs in Florida, 2 right next to each other. Always interesting. We have the Sarasota Medieval Fair in Miaka City, Florida, Suncoast Renaissance Festival in Sarasota, Florida, and Camelot Days Medieval Festival in Hollywood, Florida. But we added a new one in Alabama, very southern Alabama, just kind of southeast of Mobile. We have the Jubilee Renaissance Fair in Robertsdale, Alabama. So yeah, I'm not even familiar with that fair, so I'm going to start researching that and check it out. See what I hear about it, because it's that's a new fair for Alabama. Because historically, Alabama only had one Ren fair forever, and then they finally got a second one a few years ago, and now a third. So this is really, really awesome. So always fun, always fun. Oh, and I see Damaris talking about seeing somebody do a version of Bog that they thought was fast. Yeah, I was doing I did jam with a few people. One of the performers at Louisiana broke his thumb and he couldn't go on, so we filled in. We just kind of formed a group real quick and played a couple of shows, and it was, so I did actually do a stage show, a couple stage shows this weekend, and that was a little different, but just for this weekend, so no problem. Doesn't really interfere with my busking schedule. But no, it was, we were trying to figure out songs to do, and one of the guys saying, "Oh, well, I do Bog Down in the Valley," and I started singing it for him, and he kind of went, "Oh." It was a little fast, not faster than what he was used to, but yeah, I kind of was looking at everybody playing along and said, why don't we just go with your version? Because everybody seems more comfortable with that. Because as fast as I sing Bog, I'll admit, it's not easy to follow. So yeah, when you're playing in a group, a lot easier. Okay, but yeah, that is, that's the fair schedule. Only 7 fairs this weekend, and it's gonna keep going down as the November completes. It's just gonna go less. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, pretty soon we'll only have Louisiana. That's usually how the season ends with Louisiana. You'll get some Dickens fairs and events that, not Renaissance or medieval, but just celebrate the 19th century and do a little bit of a Christmas Carol type thing. But yeah, other than that, that's generally it. Now, I have seen some Viking festivals coming up around in this late fall, so I'm kind of curious if there are going to be any Viking festivals in December. I'm wondering, because that is a time for putting on all the heavy clothes and the fur. I look forward to seeing that. So yeah, Damaris, I probably did scare him a little bit, not going to lie. But okay, well, let's go ahead and do 7 reasons, because I tried to come up with one for today, and Alicia and I talked about it, and I thought that was apropos, especially because of the 3 Florida fairs that are all so close together, and 2 that are like 15 miles apart. I thought a good 7 reasons would be 7 reasons you might see 2 fairs so close together. I thought that would be kind of interesting to come up with. So yeah, I did that. It's a little more intellectual than my normal 7 reasons, but hey, sometimes you need that just to make the silliness seem more silly. Yeah, and Damaris, I agree with you. I think a Yule Renaissance Festival would be a great thing if you could pull it off well. I mean, you'd need the right location, and the right setup and the right groups. I mean, some acts would work really well with that. Some, I mean, they could work, but I think if you chose the right groups and they really went for it, they dressed the part and went all out for it, I think it would be really cool. So I totally agree, Damaris. I think that would be a great idea. Yeah, that might have to be one of a future 7 reasons why we need a Yule Renaissance Festival. I think, yeah, that might be next week's, actually. We'll see about that. Okay. So yeah, let's go to 7 reasons. So the 7 reasons, yeah, okay, yeah, Nancy, you're right. Muskogee's Castle has a Christmas dinner. There are a few fairs that do like a short event on Christmas, but it's not, I think we're talking about something more like several weekends, something like that. Yeah, totally. So 7 reasons you might see 2 fairs so close together. Number 7, change of ownership. You know, somebody buys a fair out or whatever and they say, oh, well, I'm going to change stuff, you know, because, well, when you get something new, you want to make it your own and change it. It happens. It happens. So, simple answer. Number 6, 2 factions. So yeah, 2 factions go against each other and split, and each one does competing fairs, and they go that kind of like what happened in Florida. That's for 2 of them. That's kind of what's going on. It's very medieval, right? The warring factions trying to battle it out. I love it. So yeah, that can happen. It's not that common, but I've seen it several times over the last couple of decades. So it does happen. It does happen. And that's one of the reasons you'll sometimes see non-disclosure agreements non-compete clauses in contracts when you're working with a Ren Fair. They'll say, yes, do our fair, but you can't play anywhere within a 50-mile radius, you know, before and after our fair. And it's usually meant to strictly try to compete and say, you're not playing this other fair, is really what they're saying. Even though they're not usually enforceable. And it's kind of interesting. Yeah, right? Right? Yeah, Damaris, you're right. Yes, Nancy, Capulet and Montague Renaissance battles. I like it. That could be, oh wow, that could be fun. I think a Romeo and Juliet themed fair, that could be interesting actually. Number 5, analytics and demographics. Sometimes a fair will just look at the numbers and say, you know, we're not, it doesn't affect us. I mean, we can go to a different time or the same time and it's fine. Like I guess a good example is Kansas City and St. Louis. Originally, St. Louis was in the spring and Kansas City was in the fall, but the company that owns Kansas City bought St. Louis, and then, boom, they moved it to the same time. I mean, they're competing. They're about 3 hours away from each other, so that's still a good ways, but it raised some eyebrows. But I asked around, and it sounded like they looked at the numbers and said, it doesn't really compete. It's not, it is not the people that go to St. Louis don't usually go, or at least go much, to Kansas City and vice versa. So I think they figured they could, it would be better to have them at that time. Easier to work at the same time, get it all done at the same time of year. It's interesting. It's interesting. Number 4, the bean counters. And this might have had an effect on Kansas City and St. Louis too, where they looked at it because they own both fairs, and the bean counters said, well, you'll make more money if you make it this time of year. And it's about money. So they'll make that change. It happens. Yeah, and I know, Drew, you're right. The whole 3 hours. I know, by Texas standards, that's nothing. But other places, you know, it's more of a thing. And I think the gist is most of the people that go to St. Louis, they go to St. Louis. And they might make a trip to Kansas City, some of them, but it's not that much. But yeah, for us, 3 hours is nothing. I mean, oh yeah, I understand. It's all relative, though. I mean, so number 3, necessity. I mean, sometimes you start a fair, and this happens a lot with like small fairs that start up, you know, pretty kind of close to really large fairs. You'll see it occasionally where that's the only time of year they can do it, either because of the access to the land or, you know, people's schedules or whatever. So they will do that fair, and it'll go against a really large fair that's, you know, only an hour or 2 away. And it's kind of strange, in my mind anyway. And you know, they have friends who go out there, and it can attract a few people, but long term it's tough to maintain that. And yeah, Damaris, you're right. Being from Texas does change your view of travel. I was just talking to somebody today who said that she had never been through Texas. She's gone cross country several times, but you know, and travels around doing Ren fairs and everything. But she said that she'd never been to Texas, and unless you do, it's really wild to see the range and change by going from one end of Texas to the other. And Janine, you're totally right. Some people do prefer going to smaller fairs. Large fairs can be quite intimidating, especially if that many people just bothers you, makes you nervous, and it can be overwhelming. I mean, some of the really, really large fairs I'm not a fan of playing at because I'm a solo act, and they cater to larger groups, and the stages are huge, and I mean, it's a little harder for me to really just even be noticed there if I'm busking or whatever. I mean, it's not as easy sometimes. Some fairs are better at it than others, but it can be a factor. So yeah, 44,000 people in one day, according to Drew for TRF, and that's about right. I mean, here at Louisiana, if you're curious, on what was it? Saturday it was, oh gosh, it was it was something like it was around 5,000, and Sunday we had a good number too. So yeah, I mean, it's a big difference, but it's a smaller fair. And yeah, Damaris, that's kind of the thing. It's pretty big. So yeah. Oh yeah, and panic attacks, Gwendolyn, you're totally right. That can be a problem. So yeah, I mean, doing that smaller fair nearby, that can be an option. But I think often it's necessity because it's just timing. Because generally you'd like to do it at a different time of year and not compete, because you'd probably get more people. But necessity can be important. Number 2, a response to other events. Like for instance, maybe a state fair that's going on at one time of year, and you don't want to compete with that, so you move to a different time of year, or a major sporting event. Like, it's really hard in some cities to do a Ren fair during football season, because every Saturday and or Sunday, I mean, college, pro, it depends on local teams, and if they have a 12 noon game, your attendance is going to be down on that day. It just happens. You see it. And some places more than others. It depends. And it doesn't have to be football. So, I mean, different times of year, it can be baseball or basketball or hockey up in the north. I mean, it can be a big thing. Soccer, whatever. I mean, depending on what is big with that area, it can really change the numbers. So it might be smarter to move it to a different time of year that doesn't compete with that. I'm sorry, do I ever meet people who are attending, going to, or leaving another fair nearby? Oh, okay. Have I ever talked to people who have done that to a close by fair? Yes, I have a few, and often what they do is they'll go to TRF. Like if we're talking about TRF, they'll go to TRF, and then they'll try the other fair, because I mean, there are people that really just like going to fairs, and they like the differences. They don't just like the one fair, they like fairs. They like the different feelings. And the best thing about fairs is they're all different. I mean, mostly they're pretty different. Some very different. The different feel, different performers, different vendors, different food, different area, different weather. I mean, it's nice to have those differences. So if I'm understanding the question, yeah, that's why they kind of like it. Okay, number 1 reason, and this is I think the obvious one, and for some of you that have known owners of fairs, you'll understand this answer: whimsy. Sometimes they just feel like it. They're just kind of like, I just want to move. Yeah, it's so audiences going to multiple fairs but not performers en route. Oh, I see what you're saying. If you stop by one fair on the way to another, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you'll have performers that will do one fair for a few weeks and then do another one. and they'll split it for various reasons. Sometimes they just like change. Sometimes the money's better if they split it. Sometimes it's just they have friends who started this smaller fair and they want to support them. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Yeah, Drew is like a precious fair. Can't even imagine. You're right. Yes, whimsy. Yes, it happens. And and what's life without whimsy? That is true. And the people that start Ren fairs, they do have some qualities that are like performers and cast and people who go to fair. I mean, they have that sort of let's just roll with it kind of attitude sometimes, and sometimes very much. So whimsy can definitely happen. So anyway, those are the 7 reasons why you might have 2 fairs close to each other. I think I covered it all. I tried. I hope it's close. I hope so. Yes. Well, it's been great seeing you. I probably should shut down the stream on time, because they're trying to be quiet in the other room while they're playing games, and they've been very, very nice letting me be here and do this stream, and hopefully they'll let me do it next week. If not, I'll figure out something else. But I do plan on keeping this going through the fair, and hopefully as well through when I get home. So we'll continue this. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. And Janine, yes, Haggis Rampant, really cool, really nice of them. They are a wonderful group, a family group, and all bagpipers and drums, and they are very good. And this weekend at the Ren Fair at Louisiana is Celtic weekend. So there's probably going to be a few dozen bagpipers, which, let me tell you, that definitely changes the dynamic of the parade when there's a few dozen bagpipers leading it. That's one of those parades where I'm in the back of the parade, they're in the front, and even so, I play whatever I want. I'll play swing music, whatever. Nobody can hear me. It doesn't matter. I can get away with whatever. It's kind of fun. Yes, Janine, were they on the podcast? I don't know if they ever did the podcast. They did do a show on Life's a Fair. They do have a video of them performing from last year at Louisiana Ren Fair, so last fall. The fair did a very small version of themselves. It was they had caps on the numbers, and there were very strict restrictions during COVID, and they did put it on, though, which honestly, I think most of us were betting against it, but they managed to do it, and mostly with local performers and everything, not many outside, and since Haggis Rampant is local, it worked. So hey Harvey. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen or heard them, yeah, just look, do a search, but also, yeah, if you want to check back and just look at the Life's a Fair videos, and you'll see Haggis Rampant in there. And they put on a fun show. They are really good. And yeah, Drew, always good to support the locals, always good. Well, thank you all very much. It's always fun and a pleasure, and it's great to see you again. I've missed you, and I will make sure I see you next week. So take care, have fun, enjoy this nice, glorious weather we're having, and as always, have a fair life. Take care. Bye.